Hello, kids. Today, I am going to tell you a story about the tiny chefs of Magic Bistro. In a small, cozy restaurant tucked away on a quiet street, something magical happened every day. It wasn't just the delicious food that brought customers in. It was the tiny chefs who worked behind the scenes. These were no ordinary chefs. They were miniature men, no taller than a coffee cup, and they had a special talent for cooking the most amazing dishes. The tiny chefs, led by a sprightly woman named Chef Susie, wore colorful aprons and tiny hats. They worked together in a bustling kitchen filled with pots, pans, and all kinds of ingredients that seemed enormous to them. Chef Susie had a big dream: to make the best food in the world, using the tiniest tools and the freshest ingredients. One sunny morning, the restaurant opened, and the first order came in: a hot cup of coffee. Chef Susie waved her tiny wooden spoon, and her team got to work. The beans, ground to perfection, were carefully scooped into a miniature coffee machine, no bigger than a teacup. Chef Susie pressed a button, and soon, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, making everyone smile. The miniature men poured the coffee into an itty-bitty cup, just the right size for their tiny hands, and served it with a dollop of whipped cream. Next up was a customer who wanted a batch of cupcakes. The tiny chefs rushed over to their oven, which looked like a grand fireplace to them. They mixed the flour, sugar, and eggs in a bowl the size of a thimble, adding sprinkles and frosting with great care. The cupcakes were so small that they fit perfectly on a tiny platter. As they came out of the oven, they glowed golden brown. A sprinkle of powdered sugar on top made them look even more delightful. Soon, the orders kept coming: pizza, burgers, ice cream, croissants, and sushi. The miniature chefs were ready for the challenge. For the pizza, they carefully stretched out the dough using their tiny rolling pins, then topped it with a selection of miniature toppings: tiny tomatoes, bits of cheese, and tiny pepperoni. It baked in their tiny oven, and the smell was so mouth-watering that even the customers waiting in line couldn't wait to get a slice. The burgers were made with tiny buns and patties, cooked to perfection. They added lettuce, cheese, and pickles, stacking them carefully, like building a little burger tower. Next, the ice cream cones. Chef Susie made sure each scoop was smooth and perfectly round. The ice cream was so creamy that it seemed to melt just right in the warm sun. The croissants, fresh and flaky, were baked in the little oven, their golden layers crisping just right. The sushi was rolled with the tiniest rice and fish, then garnished with tiny seaweed and wasabi. Finally, for a customer who asked for something hearty, the miniature chefs whipped up a beautiful plate of biryani and vegetable wraps, each filled with the freshest ingredients. As the day ended, Chef Susie and her team cleaned up their tiny kitchen. Satisfied with the magic they had created, their food wasn't just tasty, it brought joy and wonder to everyone who walked through their door. And though they were small, the miniature chefs knew that big dreams could come in tiny packages, especially when shared with friends. So kids, that's all for today. If you like our story, please subscribe or press the bell icon. See you next time with another story.